Hey everyone, your designers are here.
I'm Anita with Cedar Hill Farmhouse.
And I'm Yvonne at Stone Gable.
And I'm Kelly at Myself a Home.
We have tips and tricks and decorating advice for you. So let's get started.
Today, we're going to be talking about 9 ideas. Well, you know us, we actually have more than 9, but about 9, maybe 10, 15, I don't know, ideas to take your walls from blah to beautiful. Now, we know making holes in your walls is serious business, but we had so much fun with this episode.
I'll start out with clocks. I love those big clocks that are now really on trend. And the thing I like about them is you can get them very reasonably priced, and they're like a friend for a season. I think mine are going to be up for a longer season, but they work just almost anywhere. I have one I have one in my living room. I have one in my dining room. I have one in my family room. And I think it just brings a lot of charm and warmth depending on the style of clock you get.
I think that's such a great idea. And they could be ones that function or don't even function. It could just be a decorative one. Okay, so Yvonne told us about clocks. Anita, jump in here and give us something.
Empty frames.
love
I love
it.
using empty frames on a wall, especially some that are just the old frames that have lots of detail and lots of carving on them. Maybe they're hand carved. Sometimes they're crumbling in some places, gilded, just gorgeous. I love using these. And sometimes I find them on eBay or maybe out at Round Top. But if you even have 2 or 3, and sometimes I put them on the wall and then hang something in the center of them.
I love that look, Anita.
Right. So I have some wall sconces, some candle sconces inside some old frames also.
I love that look too. But I did have that in a house of mine years ago. And I had some comments like, well, why is it empty? Or, did something fall out of it? Or, did you have a priceless piece of art in there and it was stolen? So
go with that
I think
one.
It's a great look. And I also like to put a larger frame, as Anita described, and then maybe something smaller that's actually something inside a smaller frame inside that. So it's a frame within a frame.
That's a great designer trick. When you have maybe a piece of art or a picture or something that you like, but it's too small, put it on the wall, but put it in a bigger frame around it. And it just makes the entire picture that you're putting there just look so much bigger and expansive. I wanted to ask you, Anita, do you do anything with your frames, or do you sort of leave them as is?
I don't. Well, I mean, these old,
do you paint them?
No, well, the old ones I wouldn't dare touch because they're falling apart, and they just have a patina about them that I wouldn't dare touch. But some of the ones that are maybe 5, 10, 20 years old, I wouldn't mind painting those if they were the wrong color.
Okay. So, this is my mantra: learn how to paint. That would be beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
And what looks really nice is if you have ones that are paintable, instead of having them all different colors, paint them all one color.
Yeah, for unity.
And that,
nice.
Yes, and put a few of them on the wall. It's a beautiful look.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And quite inexpensive.
And what you said, I've done that as well. I've hung smaller printed artwork. I've hung from the empty frames with a ribbon.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah,
so I think that's my fave.
There's a little twist on that. Okay, so I have one. A wrapped canvas. I once had a very large area over a very large sofa, and it just needed something. I didn't have, the budget to buy a giant piece of art, and I actually thought a giant piece of art would just be too much. It was so large, but I wanted to fill this whole space. A mirror just seems like, oh no, too big, and so I ended up finding it online, but I had to drive out to this company because I wanted to save on the shipping. But I found a place that just made for actual artists, just a canvas that was wrapped. And then I bought fabric that I loved, and I covered this gigantic canvas with the fabric and just using a staple gun on the back. and I hung it
what
up.
a good idea.
And then I pulled in the colors from that fabric wall hanging in the throw pillows and things like that. And it was so inexpensive for that large of a piece. I think that the canvas, I didn't get the, ultra, super fine artist quality canvas. I just got, a very simple one, and it's framed with wood. So it's sturdy, and you just staple right into the back. And I, had several yards of fabric, and then I had some fabric left over, and I made some little lumbar pillows. And I thought it was just a great way, again, to fill up a large space. And we've said to you guys before, go big. If you're going to go
Definitely.
big. And this was so big. It was terrific.
And you couldn't, most of us couldn't afford a piece of art that big.
No,
I wouldn't want to invest that much money.
Yeah.
And not only that, I truly, this is a confession, I get tired of art. I love to go to museums. I love art in my home for a while. But then I get a little tired and I get a little restless and I want a little change. So that is a wonderful idea that I'm going to steal.
Yeah, steal it. Definitely. And you could do it on a smaller scale as well. You could get an 11 by 14, something like that, a nice sized one. But this was huge. So picture, well, it was over the DNA couch at one point. So it's a very big red sectional.
See the sofa, episode for that.
Yeah.
The
So
DNA
Yvonne,
couch.
I've heard about, no, I haven't seen them, but I was wondering if either you or Kelly have heard of these. We've been talking about the repositional wallpaper, but have you heard of, it's basically like a poster you can put on the wall, but it sticks to the wall and it's repositionable, but it's not wallpaper for the entire wall. Have you heard of these?
Yes, the company that I talk about, and I'll put it in the show notes, they also make those.
Okay. Yeah. I've seen those. I've been working on designing something that I've been wanting in a room, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet, but it looks
I'll
like
tell you some, I know, I don't know if we're going to talk about wallpaper, but I do want to talk about, this is really cool because you're talking about sort of doing a mural type of thing. My daughter, for Anderson, that's my grandson who's 7 months, for the nursery, she didn't want anything too babyish. So we got a huge vintage map of the world.
Oh, great
brilliant.
idea.
And from Walls Need Love. And it's repositional. And her husband put it on one wall by his crib, and it is amazing.
Well, that reminds me of some things that I found at auction that I sold when I had the booth at Round Top. And they're basically prints of, but they're quite wide. The one I had was at least 4 feet wide, probably even wider. And you pull it down.
Yeah,
and it's like for a classroom or something, but it was a scene of like a countryside in Europe. It was really, they were really charming. I got several of those and they sold like hotcakes, but that's a great, of course you have to find those vintage because they've got the long wood bar, but.
I love that. Well, they also have those like, I think that a lot of times they're German and they're.
Well, this actually was from Germany. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And sometimes they're like from science classrooms or something.
I guess it was. I think it probably was from a classroom because you could scroll it down or pull it back up. Pretty cool.
Well, here's a great hack for that. If you like that look, you can just get a big print or a big picture that you like, or, something that's on paper, even a beautiful piece of like gift wrap, the kind that you buy in the sheets.
Yeah.
And you put a really thin strip of just, I don't know what kind of wood it is, just like a molding wood at the top and a molding wood at the bottom. And then you put string behind the top ends and bring it to the center and hang it.
I think that's a great idea.
Yes.
Almost like a banner.
Yes, like a banner.
But it sort of looks like almost like a pull down mat, but it's not so heavy.
Yes,
great.
I love that. I love that. It gives it some weight too with the.
And thinking of that, I'm just writing myself a little note to do a DIY on that because it's a beautiful look.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. So, Yvonne, you want to jump in?
I'll do another one. Yes.
Let's stop while she writes.
Just gonna stop and write a post. I'm feeling it. Come on.
I got DIY hang. That's as far as I got. But
and then as far as if I wrote that note to myself, then later on today I'd be like, what does that mean?
What am I hanging? What am I going to tell Bob to hang? Yeah,
exactly.
Well, I'm going to say chalkboards. because they're still very, very on trend
Yeah.
and so
Very
inexpensive.
practical too.
And yes, and you can do a thousand things with them. You can put them as, a to-do list, a menu, a chore chart, a lovely inspirational saying, and you can make so many things into a chalkboard. Like I took silver platters. They weren't, good silver platters. This was a few years ago, painted the center, did a few of them and wrote things in it. And then I bought just a song, somebody had made a chalkboard out of an old fashioned mirror that it was attached to a dresser,
Right.
the kind that had like the finials and things at the top. Painted that and put a chalkboard in it, and it's huge, but it's so much fun, and it's just something so whimsical, and it takes up space. So you wouldn't want it in your formal areas, but what about your dining room or your breakfast nook? Wouldn't that be fun?
It's kind of fun in the entryway too. You could write a little welcome or something
absolutely.
like
I think I've seen some bloggers put them in some gorgeous frames, and at the farm, I had at one point taken a screen door and removed the screen and
I remember
blackboard
that
into it. So
can you put that in the show notes?
yes, I will. So that's definitely something. I mean, with the blackboard paint, you can transform about anything into a blackboard. Chalkboard.
Right. That's what Yvonne was saying about painting. So you used the chalkboard paint, I would imagine, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not talking about chalk paint, but chalkboard paint, which is
Well, can I
black.
say this? Buy the spray paint, not the kind that
you can always say buy
brush
the spray
on.
paint.
I know because I've done both, and I think you get a more even. If you're careful, you get a more even coverage with the spray paint. It doesn't have any brush strokes that's going to impede what you write on it.
Yeah,
and I have. I made a mistake when I designed my kitchen makeover, and for some reason thought I would do this stone backsplash over my cooktop, which really did not go with my kitchen once it was done. It's like, yikes, what do you do? And so I found a frame that fit that area and turned that frame. We put a piece of plywood in the back of it, spray painted it, and I put my weekly menu on it.
Oh, great idea.
Now it gets splattered and all of that, but that's fine. I just take a degreaser, degrease it off and start all over again.
Yeah. Well, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm. And it's inexpensive and it's original. And that's what I want to say. Mm-hmm. Make the things that you put on your wall important to you.
That segues very much into my next tip for what to put on the wall. And I have some frames. They're really meant to put postcards in, but they're kind of some arched frames with some hatchwork, metal wires. So you're supposed to put postcards in there. But I hung my daughter's baby dresses on there.
Oh, I know.
So I love that.
And
I've seen that. That's one of my favorite things you've done.
Each bed. And the little secret is, I probably shouldn't even say this, but I always do anyway, right?
Yes, you do.
Is my mother-in-law was expecting, and they were in Geneva at the time, and she had bought this gorgeous little white dress for her. She just knew she was having a little girl. Well, of course, it ended up being my husband, so we still have that dress.
Thank goodness.
Kevin worked through that the years of the dress.
That's right. So the dress, I still have that dress. Well, it's not my fault she kept it for this long.
Oh, I love that, Anita. That's one of the prettiest things that you've done.
Right. So it has some special meaning, but I think the idea of using vintage clothing was really my key point. But I think that something special to you is even better. But, old straw hats, I think on a wall would be great. You could just go I know somebody that had her dad's World War II bomber jacket hung on the wall.
Well, I have my father when, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, we were very tiny. Was stationed in a remote base called Wakkanai, Japan. Mm-hmm. And we were back here living with my grandmother at the time. And he sent over kimonos for
Oh.
me
that's
and my
beautiful.
sister and my brother. And I have my little kimono, and I'm in the process. I mean, everything in our house we do ourselves, so it takes us forever. But I'm going to put that little kimono in a frame and hang it up in our hallway with some
Oh,
other.
that's so
Oh,
fabulous.
that
Yes.
is sweet.
I love
Yes,
it.
yes.
I love it.
And I'm going to try to convince my sister to let me have hers or borrow on loan, on loan.
Oh, yes.
I don't know how I'll do with that, but I'm going to try.
You can always buy christening gowns on. Are we talking about a christening gown? Is that what you're talking about? Or
No,
Kimono.
kimono.
Kimonos. Oh, okay,
little
yeah.
kimonos.
You can always get some more of those on eBay. But yeah, the christening gowns are something I see a lot too.
Anita,
They're
I have friends who had it professionally framed. I think from maybe their grandmother, because it was a great grandmother by the time the little kids had it, and everyone in their family wore it. So it was framed. So it was just you take one snip of a stitch and it would pull off.
Oh, nice.
And then you would have to have it redone. So it was beautiful. And they had like a little plaque of everybody who wore it.
Oh, now
talk
that
about
is-
special.
That's
Yes.
an heirloom.
Now there
That's
you
an
go.
heirloom.
And I think
Yep.
that's a fun thing. Anytime we're talking about anything for your home, I mean, I always try to think first, is there something I can add that has some personal meaning to me? I mean, not always. Sometimes you just find something in store or vintage and you just say, I really like this, and grab it. But if there's something that kind of reminds me of, there's some personal connection, I really like using those things for myself or for a client.
Well, it's so nice to be able to bring it out of the
Mhm.
box or the
Mhm.
hoop chest or the crate or, the back of the garage.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
enjoy it.
And if you make something yourself, isn't that personal and meaning to you? Like,
Well,
stretching
only if
that
it doesn't
canvas.
look too horrible. If it looks really bad,
Well,
it never
like
comes out.
stretching the canvas or deciding on the frames.
Mhm.
They're not something that you buy at a store that somebody else does. You've done that yourself.
Don't you just love a great recommendation from a friend? Well, we're delighted to be recommending these companies and their wonderful products to you today. And let them know your friends at DTT sent you. Green Chef is a delicious delight any time of year, but especially during the holidays. What a wonderful vision to behold as the Green Chef boxes on your doorstep. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for eating well. And it makes eating well so easy with plans to fit every lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat a more balanced diet. So let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season. And if you've got guests coming, shop Green Bundles. They're now available at the Green Market. It's your one-stop shop for nutritious grab-and-go breakfasts, including vegan options, brunch kits, wholesome lunches, ready-to-eat snacks, veggie sides, and more. You can feel your best this December and do your best with Green Chef because they offset 100% of the delivery emissions as well as 100% of the plastic in every box. Go to greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT and get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. greenchef.com/60DTT and use the code 60DTT to get 60% off plus 20% off your next 2 months. Inevitably, with the new year come wellness goals. One very effective and easy to reach goal is to add Dose to your wellness regime. Dose is expertly formulated organic wellness shots that support your liver in one delicious drink. Formulated with ingredients clinically shown to support liver health. Potent turmeric, milk thistle, and ginger. There's 0 sugar and 0 calories. Did you know that your liver performs over 500 special functions? Since I learned all that my liver is doing, I started with Dose to support all those vital functions. I take a shot of refreshing Dose 2 times per week to combat everyday toxins from food, meds, alcohol, and unhealthy air. Since starting with Dose about a month ago, I am definitely feeling an overall improvement in my health. So if you want to give Dose a shot and invest in your health like I have, Dose is offering DTT listeners 15% off your first order, plus an additional 15% off if you subscribe for a monthly delivery. That's 30% off your first order. So go to dosedaily.co/DTT and use the code DTT. That's dosedaily.co.co/DTT and use the code DTT.
Another one that I have done before, and I'm going to do in my living room here, is I had long panels made. I did have the frames made because I wanted them to be long and thin. It was for my entryway in our prior house. And I had chosen wallpaper that just picked up all my colors. And the wallpaper fit, I made sure the width of the wallpaper was the right size for the frames, or vice versa, whichever you find first. And I just rolled out the wallpaper, dropped it in, and put these 2 long panels on the wall. And they filled the space beautifully. Instead of having a lot of little things or just things that were going on the horizontal in the entryway, I had these long panels next to each other, long and thin. And now here I'm taking out the wallpaper because it's not the right colors. And I'm searching for the right width wallpaper to fit the frames that I've already had made. And I'm going to put them in this corner in my living room where one of those Bergère chairs is tucked.
Yes.
And I have a little chandelier swagged up and hanging down. So it needs something on either side. And I didn't want to make it so busy with a gallery wall or just too plain with 2 little things stuck on either side in this corner. So I'm going to drop these long panels there.
Kelly, that's for me the tip of the day, because here's why. If you have a small space,
I got the tip of the day, Anita.
Yeah.
Well, I was getting ready to add something to your tip.
Well, but if you
my tip can't get any better.
Wait, if you don't want to wallpaper a small space,
yes,
you could do these panels.
It's
you don't
a
have to
toe
go
dip into
through all of
wallpaper.
that.
Right.
But it's a beautiful look because you also have that clear negative white space around it.
Yeah.
I like that so
And you
much.
can even change the wallpaper out.
I'm going like ding, 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 ding,
a couple
ding.
of times a year.
I know. So I'm going to pile on to your
Yes.
great idea here,
Yes.
Kelly.
Mm.
we all
you
have to
can
get
ride
in,
on
right?
my brilliance. Go ahead.
Okay, let me just add to your brilliance. So one of the thing I'm catching from what you're saying, and a lot of the ideas that we're pulling out here, is fewer, bigger things on the wall are really what's going to make the space kind of have an elegance to it.
Right.
So, I mean, that's always my recommendation. If you can go with fewer, bigger, it's going to look better than a lot of small things.
Okay, ding, ding, ding. Added value tip of the day.
Kelly.
Oh, she is such a people pleaser.
I am. Truly,
Okay,
I am.
everybody gets a star. Everybody gets a popsicle.
Hey, but no, I mean, if it was a competition, no, I believe in that. But yeah, I think that's I believe in competition, but this is not. So I do think that is such an important thing. We always talk about less items, bigger items, less and bigger, less and bigger, less and bigger. And I think that for me, and probably for you who are listening, it is a wonderful thing to get into practice of doing, because it's much more pleasing to look at.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, for people, I feel like people are wanting that look that they see on Pinterest or wanting look in the magazines. And I know people, sometimes someone's frustrated and comes to me, why doesn't my house look like that? And that is the biggest issue I see, is lots of small things instead of fewer big things.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Something memorable.
That's exactly right. And something larger, especially those wallpaper panels. Okay, I'm also redoing my bedroom, and I just have the perfect wall for it.
Okay, go ahead. Make a note. We'll wait.
That's okay. I'm still DIY hang. That's about all I can put in my mind
panel.
right now. Yeah, okay. Can I do another one?
Yes, please.
How about, we've got to say the D word, dishes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, that belongs in everyone.
We would be remiss if we didn't say dishes. You're right.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Hanging
Yes, I have a little
dishes.
note here. Thank you. Yeah, you get tip of the day. You mentioned the D word.
There you
We
go.
we all get a gold star today on our foreheads. Okay.
Awesome.
That's right. Well, the dishes, I think, work everywhere, especially on a wall. And that's a little bit different where I said just one big thing versus a lot of little things. If you have a grouping of several plates, that counts as one big thing.
That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Be very judicious and curate what you put on the wall, because it can either look absolutely fabulously gorgeous and chic, or it can look like a big hot mess.
Well, I think
You know,
one
I'm
of the
just,
tips there is
hey,
getting
just being
dishes.
honest.
Well, but what you're saying, I think, is, Yvonne, go with a limited color palette. Is that what you're saying on those dishes?
Yes, absolutely.
Which is one of
That's
our favorite
another
things.
favorite
all
word.
the keywords are coming out.
That's
Buzzword.
right.
We
So
have to
don't
do a
have
little
lots of-
thing where if you get the buzzword for the day and you call in, you're the winner. You know, it's like third caller that gets the buzzword.
So yeah. we like to work certain terms into each episode because it's important. If you have a lot of plates and there are a lot of different colors, it has that kind of confused, chaotic look. But if you have a single color or one or two that as a thread throughout all of the dishes, that's that cohesive look that makes it feel like it's one big thing versus a lot of little disjointed
and
things.
arrangement. And well, first of all, you can never go wrong with white.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many beautiful white plates, platters.
And if you have a dark color on the wall, it looks even better.
Yes. There's a couple examples of bloggers that have just done it so right. So I'll try to find those. If you look on Pinterest, you'll find them. If you look at, dish
and
arrangements
if you've got
on
a
the wall.
wallpaper wall, a lot of times that looks great to take white
The
dishes
white.
and put it on that wallpapered wall. And it's just an amazing look.
You are talking my love language, girl. That's right. I just love. Now I want to go wallpaper a wall and hang white dishes on it.
We'll wait. Go ahead.
Another note. A note to self. Note to Bobby.
Oh, note to Bobby. Yeah.
Yeah, he does the wallpapering in this house. Yeah, hanging those dishes, and I like to see varying sizes and shapes.
And the old days, everything had to be very symmetrical, and it's just not the case anymore. So there's so many fun designs you can do with the dishes. You can just kind of make it asymmetrical, kind of swirly, whatever you want. There's just so many beautiful ways to do it. And the rules have just gone out the door. And I have a post on how to hang them where the hardware doesn't show. I will put it in the show notes, a very inexpensive.
And so do I. And you have like a $0 way of hanging it.
Yeah.
Which I love.
The soda top thing.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about hanging things. Okay, so we're not going to get too much into how you hang and all materials you might use to do that, but I do have one idea I want to share, and I've done it a couple of times in this house. If you have something, a mirror or a framed piece that either you're going to hang from a ribbon or a chain or something, think about, so now you have the hook where the ribbon or chain or whatever it's going to dangle from is hanging on. So that's a little bit of real estate that you might want to do something interesting with. I've done two things in this house that I really like. I found a collection of skeleton keys in the house. I don't know what locks they went to, and we're not using them, but I wanted to use them somehow. So I tied them up with some twine, and then I attached them with the twine to the hook that was on the wall. So can you picture that?
Oh,
So I have
yes.
the skeleton keys, like a little ring of maybe 5 of them. And then I have twine attached to this really pretty mirror, dainty sort of mirror that I got in Anthropology. So they're dangling, then the twine is
on
attached.
Top of the mirror or
on
below
top
the
of
mirror?
it. So they're
nice.
attached to the hook.
So it's
that's
layered.
the nail.
It's like you have two things hanging really from that one nail.
Yeah. And then I just did something with a mirror. I bought a very heavy mirror at Lloyd and Lane, one of my favorite local shops. And when I got it home, I was like aghast to find the back had the 2 hooks. Not the one hook.
Yes,
so then, you have to make sure.
And then it's got to be level.
Yes.
Yep.
And it was so heavy. And
the hooks on the back, that's my pet peeve. Sometimes they're not exactly level with each other.
Right.
So you've got to take that
starting
into
from an
account.
unlevel plane.
Okay, this is where you need to go into your toolbox, our toolbox episode, and get your leveler out.
But you know what?
Well,
this is what I did. Listen to what I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's
So
hear
I
it.
said, in horror, this is the thing. And I'm going into lath and plaster, which is not,
yes.
The best situation.
You don't want to make holes in that unnecessary.
No.
Mhm.
Right. So I got, are they called carbuncles or something like that? You know, those clippy things that you can clip stuff together? Carabiner, right.
Oh, yeah.
Or a
What did I call
carbuncle.
it?
I would have never gotten that from carbuncle. I think a carbuncle.
I think that's part of the underwear. laughing. It's so funny. Okay. I'm so silly sometimes. Oh, how did I not know that word? It's
How'd
early
you
in the
get
morning.
carabiner from that?
I don't know.
I knew what you see because we're on the same wavelength. That's how.
I know.
Oh,
Aren't you
my.
afraid you knew what I was saying? Like, you're
It's just
spending way
scary.
too much time with me. Okay, so I got 2 of those. Say it again, Anita. What did I get?
Carabiner.
I got 2 carabiners, little ones, at the hardware store.
Mhm.
And I hooked them into those little toothy things that are on the back,
Yes.
on either
Mhm.
side. And then I bought this pretty chain also from the hardware store that was black, and my mirror is framed in black. And I attached those things to the hooks. Then I attached the chain to those. So now
Oh
I
my
only had to
gosh.
make 1 hole at the top.
I gotcha.
And then I hung it from the chain. And then from the chain, I put this really darling twiny tassel. And it looks fabulous.
I don't
sounds
think she
nice.
means carabiners though, because
Oh, you
aren't
don't think
they? I don't know. Are they? I think of a carabiner as something with a stretchy cord. No.
No, it's like
No.
it's a little hook.
It's a little
Okay,
hook that
okay.
latches in. You can squeeze
It's for like
it.
climbing.
Okay. Oh,
Yes.
yes. Okay. Gotcha.
It's
Gotcha.
for
Gotcha.
repelling or
Yes.
hanging a heavy frame
Yes.
in your
Oh,
house.
that is so
Yeah.
funny. And just remember, carbuncle is part of the whole underwear thing.
I don't even know if carbuncle is a word. Right. I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up.
That's so
I thought it was
silly.
something on your foot.
That's a bunion. Or a corn. It's a corn and a bunion.
No, I'm looking that one up. I know there's something.
Oh my gosh.
I
so
think I
silly.
was thinking like a carbuncle is like something under the sea. Now,
Oh,
this would be so.
That's a barnacle. Okay. We need to stop
Okay.
that. Okay, who
Okay.
has another one? Okay.
Oh, I have something. If I can stop laughing.
Okay.
Pesto pork chops over Parmesan polenta. Not that easy to say, but oh, so easy to make with Green Chef. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit company for eating well, and we have such a great deal for you. You're going to save $250. Listen on for the details on that. Green Chef makes eating well easy for any lifestyle, whether you're keto, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just looking to eat more balanced meals. You know, we're getting into the busy holiday season, so it's a perfect time to have Green Chef help you out. Let Green Chef take the work out of eating clean this holiday season with their chef-crafted, nutritionist-approved recipes featuring fresh ingredients and nothing artificial. And you know what? You don't have to lose track of your healthy eating habits during the holidays. Every Green Chef customer gets a free session with their registered dietitians who will walk you through how to make clean eating work for you. So sign up for your free session and start on the road towards better health today. And that deal I want to tell you about, visit greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. So that's greenchef.com/DTT250 and use the code DTT250 for $250 off your order. Go ahead, clean out your closet, then head straight to Quince. I love every item Quince offers, from wardrobe to decor, and I can really recommend their Ultra Stretch Super Wide Leg Pant at $49.90. The price is unbeatable, and the look is so flattering. It keeps you in on top and flares out of the bottom. Everything feels right with Quince. The price, the quality, and the sustainability. Quince offers a range of luxury wardrobe and home goods at prices within reach. And like Quince's clothing, their home goods are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. Once you've cleaned out your closet and refreshed with Quince, you can also add something to your home decor. So give your wardrobe and your home the refresh it needs with Quince. Go to quince.com/DTT to get free shipping and 365-day returns on your next order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/DTT for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/DTT. And let me know how you love those pants.
Walls, you can put on your wall a door or a window, any kind of vintage architectural piece,
love
I think
it.
is great. Like I
Yeah.
said, I took the door and made it into the chalkboard, but you can get an old window that's just, and it's the frame. That's what's so beautiful about it. Or, just any kind of old piece from a building. I've used old corbels to make a shelf. So any kind of old piece of something that came from a building, I think is fun to put on the wall.
Yes.
Oh,
I do
wow.
too.
Beautiful.
Charm, charm, charm. How about vintage postcards? I love vintage postcards.
Oh, beautiful.
yeah.
Not even vintage. They have so many great postcards out today
They
that
do.
are like replicas of details of artwork or just cute little sayings that could go in a frame. Hey, I have to interrupt. Carbuncle, you were the closest, Anita. It's a severe abscess or boil on the skin.
I just want to be very clear. I don't have that.
It has nothing to do with underwear.
Oh, and no, nothing to do with that great underwear.
Okay.
Oh, how funny. But the thing with the vintage postcards, though, is, then they are small. So would you consider maybe making like an overlapping collage of them? Like if you said, oh, I'm going to get all vintage postcards from a certain place, or, I
think I would put them on a bulletin board or something like that.
Yes. Or how
That's a
about
nice
just
idea.
I think the way to bring that together, if you wanted to do a collage on the wall, would be put them all in the same kind of frame, same color, same weight, just to tie that all together.
So maybe do a grouping like we're talking about the plates. And make it
I
be
think that
one
would
thing.
work. Yeah. I really think that would work.
I think
Wow.
so too. And somebody mentioned hats. I think that was Anita. I love that idea too. I have a pin that I have pinned over and over again. Every 6 months or so, somehow it comes through my feed. And it's just all these straw hats. It's a very summery looking house. It's all painted white, and, it looks like, a little sand might be on the floor. It's just really charming. But in this particular image, they have all these straw hats, again, all the same color, all the same texture, but different shapes. And it just looks so fantastic. I mean, of course, if you ever decide to take it off, you've got a lot of holes in your wall, but maybe you could even do those little 3M things if you were going to do something.
I bet you that would hold it up very well. I bet you
Yeah,
that
I
would.
actually took a basket one time and had sticks in it, and then put the straw hats on top of the sticks. So it looked like a basket of straw hats, which sounds a little odd, but it was kind of cute.
How cute.
God, you're good. You are good.
Stop.
Good. I love it. That's a great idea.
So, okay, any more tips? Because
oh my goodness, look at the time.
I know.
I have to go soak my carbuncle.
Okay, well, on that note, this has been so much fun. Oh my goodness, and we learned a new word.
Several new words.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, remember, we're here to inspire you to create a beautiful home. Until next time.
Hey, everybody, we want to thank you so much for listening to Decorating Tips and Tricks. And we want to make it even easier for you to listen. And it's easier if you subscribe. You just click the subscribe button on our website, www.decoratingtipsandtricks.com, or you can subscribe through Apple Podcast or any of your favorite podcast listeners. When you subscribe, DTT comes free right to you 3 days a week. So until next time.